Hello, and welcome to this week's conversation where we are going to be talking about how to continue to thrive and stand in our power and in our truth and honor our deepest desires, even though we are not being fully supported by our loved ones, right? Not an easy thing to do, but it is possible. And if you stick with me to the end of this video, you are going to learn how to do exactly that. You're going to be able to become unshakable and to actually draw the energetic lines so that you can continue and align to your soul purpose, because you came here for a reason. You didn't come here to just pay bills and die. That's what I always say. So stick with me and let's dive into this subject. So if you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Julie Sasha Cloutier. I am the owner of Divine Femme, which is a coaching and mentoring business for soul-led women who are ready to embody their soul purpose. So this is not just about discovering who you came here to be and what you came here to do. That's part of it, and that's the gateway, right? That's just the gateway. But what I really love to do, my life's work, is to help you integrate all of your numerical codes, because I am a master intuitive numerologist, if you're new to my world, and to actually integrate all of this coding into your everyday life so that when you do encounter those naysayers, you'll know exactly how to stand in your truth and how to remain honorable, right? To remain truthful, to remain powerful to what it is that you came here to do, okay? So let's dive in to this subject, okay? So I've worked with many women. I have coached many women. And the one thing that really trips them up, and it tripped me up for the longest time, is when people, our loved ones, our family, our friends, when they don't necessarily agree with what it is that we are wanting to do, right? Because it makes no sense when you think about it, because when you are operating from soul guidance, okay, when you're taking soul aligned action, it has nothing to do with the logical thinking. And a lot of people are still functioning in the 3D, right? In the 3D way, in a third dimension. And in the third dimension, it's very right brain hemisphere, which means that it is very logical and linear, where it just needs to make sense, and it's the pros and the cons. And so there's nothing soulful about it at all. So it won't make sense when you come up to them and say, I have this vision. I have this vision of creating this retreat where I'm going to welcome people from all over the world and I'm going to help them heal XYZ, right? People will look at you and say, yeah, but you have this stable government job or a 9-to-5 job, you're making good money, you have your benefits. What are you doing? Like, why would you give that up? Why would you do that? That's a risk. Don't do that. And that really rains on your parade, doesn't it? I mean, it crushes our spirit. But what it did for me, it did something completely different. And this is what I love to do when I'm working with women, because I light up the fire within them, right? I'm like this soul igniter, and thanks to my Destiny 5. And so what I do is that I fan the flame on your deepest desire. Now, in numerology, one of the numerical codes that represent your deepest desire is your heart's desire number, which is just you adding up the month and the day that you were born. Okay, so you add that up and you reduce it to one digit. Okay, and if you don't know what your heart's desire means or is all about, please write it in the comments so that I can let you know what your deepest desire is, because sometimes we don't even know, because we've been living a life of shoulds. We've been settling. We've been living our lives according to other people's wants and needs. And so we come to a point where it's like, you don't even know what it is that you desire anymore. You're in a fog, right? So that's why I work with a lot of women who come to me and they just want clarity. At first, they want clarity and they want confirmation. And that's why we dive into a personal reading, right? And I do have some women who are entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, and I do business readings as well. But for the personal readings, it's all about clarity and confirmation, and it's about experiencing this deep soul remembrance, right? Because there's a disconnection that happens over time. If you do have the tendency to live a life of shoulds, to people please, to jump through hoops for other people, where you're self-doubting yourself, you're not too sure how to lead yourself, what you do is that you end up just following someone else's lead. Okay? Now, what I love to do is to reconnect you with your soul purpose, with your soul gifts, with your innate wisdom and innate power, so that you no longer need to be led. You're self-led. It's self-leadership. That's what I am all about, okay? And your chart, right? Your soul's blueprint, that is your compass. It's like your GPS system and is all about you, and you can use it in order to confirm certain things, to guide you, to support you, right? To give you clarity and to remind you who you came here to be, what you came here to do, okay? I'm always diving into my numerical codes, and I've been doing this for over a decade, okay? So how can you stand in your truth and remain in your truth, right? And honor your purpose when you have people around you who are trying to convince you to just let that dream go? How can you do it? One of the things that I always talk about when I'm coaching these incredible, brilliant, intelligent, creative women, and I'm sure you're one of them, is to surround yourself with like-minded people. You need to have discernment here, okay? Because sometimes we just want to talk about our dreams and our desires to the people closest to us because, well, we feel close to them and we're hoping that they're just going to say, oh my God, what a brilliant idea. Let's, I'm supporting you. How can I help? A lot of the times, these are the people who want to keep you safe and they don't want you to get hurt. They don't want you to become disappointed. So they will stop you from going ahead, from taking that leap of faith, right? So what I am suggesting is that you do find a community. It could be an online community. It could be a community in your community, in your surroundings with like-minded people. Surround yourself with books, right, that prove to you that it's possible. Maybe you can listen to somebody's podcast and just see, oh my God, that's possible. Or maybe you can follow somebody that's actually living your dream, that has a lot of the things that you feel inside should be your life experience. Okay. So that's number one, is surround yourself with like-minded people, because the more you do that, the more you have tangible proof that it is possible for you. If it's possible for them, it's possible for you. Why wouldn't it be? If you feel like that inner niggle and you feel almost like that envy, the sense of envy every time you see another woman either create something or show up in her power in a certain way, if you're feeling like, oh my God, I wish I could do that, then that means it's for you to experience it. I'm always saying, if it's in your heart, then it's in your chart. Okay, so it's meant for you to experience it. You need to really honor this. So that's the number one thing. So the more you surround yourself with these like-minded people, the more you're going to stand your ground when other people are telling you, what are you doing? What are you talking about? It's impossible. It's impossible. You're never going to be able to do that. You should just stick with, the stability, right? The thing that you're good at. Stick with that. You've been doing that for 15 years. Why would you give up a good thing? You will actually be able to kind of block them out more and say, no. I know it's possible for me because I'm seeing so many other people doing it around me. Okay, so that's number one. The other thing, and I kind of touched upon it as we were having this conversation, is to get a deep sense of self. When you know yourself at a soul level, okay, when you have confirmation and clarity as to what you came here to do, what is your highest potential, what is your zone of genius, your brilliance, and how you are meant to show up in this lifetime, when you have just these three things, and these are found in your chart, okay? When you have these three things, you become so much more confident and you start becoming unshakable, right? It's almost like you're growing roots like a tree would, and you become more and more solid, so that when people come and try to, knock you over with their opinions and their ideas, because everybody has an opinion, you will become unshakable. You will listen to them, but then you'll dismiss it. It will not imprint on you like it used to. Okay? The other thing, obviously, is personal boundaries. If you don't have personal boundaries, you are going to be walked over. I mean, you're going to become a doormat. That's all I'm saying. You become a people pleaser, you jump through hoops, become wishy-washy. You will not become unshakable. You become very wobbly, okay? And it's going to be very easy for people to just knock the wind out of your sails. So you need to have personal boundaries. You need to decide who do you want in your circle, in your energetic field, like who are you bringing in and who are you taking out. You need to honor yourself so much and love yourself, because personal boundaries is about self-love, okay? You need to love yourself enough to start implementing personal boundaries. Now, I work a lot with women on this one, because a lot of women feel shame and they feel guilt when they start thinking about themselves, right? They feel guilty and they feel shameful. I was one of them, and I'm still working on this because of my chart, because I have a 6 in my extended life path numbers, and the 6's shadow aspect is all about people pleasing. It's about putting other people's wants and needs in front of everybody else. It's about forgetting about yourself. And it's a lot about self-sabotaging too. So I have to keep myself in check all the time. And because I know this of myself, then I become the observer, and I'll be able to catch myself when I do it, right? I become the observer, so I'm able to see what it is that I'm doing. And I teach that when I mentor and coach women. I teach them on how to become the observer, so that they're not caught up in the fog. They're not all entangled in their web, right? They're able to actually take a step back and say, oh, there I go again. There I go again, people pleasing. There I go again. So you can actually catch yourself, right? And you can reverse it. You shift and you go to the energetic flip side of that number, because every number has a duality. So the 6's shadow is people pleasing and putting everybody else's wants and needs ahead of theirs, and self-sabotaging is very destructive. Whereas the light aspect of the 6 has high vision, is completely aligned with it, loves him or herself, right? To the point where they create really strong boundaries. Okay, so this is like one of my specialties, because it's in my life path numbers, and your life path is the trajectory onto which you came here to explore. It is through your life path numbers, through the energetics of your life path number, including your extended numbers, that you are going to extract very important life lessons. And it is these life lessons that are going to catapult you to your highest potential, your zone of genius, which in numerology is represented by your destiny number. Okay, so personal boundaries. Okay, and last but not least, and this one is a really important one, and it's not talked about enough. Okay, when somebody becomes a naysayer, when somebody ends up not supporting you or cheering you on, you have to remember that they are on their own personal journey, and that their lack of support just stems from their own limiting beliefs. Okay? This is their fear coming out. It's just theirs. And it's just coming out, and you're the one that's just receiving it. Now, here's the thing. Okay? I'm always telling my clients and my students, because I do teach numerology as well, I always tell them life is like magnets and mirrors, right? We attract what we believe, right? And at the same time, the universe will mirror to you what it is that you need to understand, so that you can continue your soul's evolution, because that's why we're here. It's to evolve, right? To expand. So one thing that we have to remember in this last part that I just talked about is that when they do either lash out at you, or they try to convince you to not go after your dreams, is that one, it is from their own belief system. Okay, it's a limiting belief system that they have. And two, it is also mirroring something within you. So there's a little part of you in there that still believes what it is that they're saying. So you need to listen to what it is that they're saying and to start playing like Sherlock Holmes so that you can really go into that shadow aspect, right? And to shed light on it and to alchemize it into light, into one of your greatest strengths. And this is something that I teach and I coach when I am working alongside women. So this is when we do mentorship, because during a reading, yes, you get some coaching. And yes, I do share with you my intuitive insights because spirit does come through. So you do get a lot of clarity and you do get a lot of confirmation. Okay. But then a lot of women, what they do is that they choose to continue coaching with me because they know now that the coaching that I offer and the mentorship is deeply rooted into their soul blueprint, right? This is not just me throwing strategies that I read in a book or something and hoping that, it's going to help them. I am coaching them through their energetics, through their own individual energetics. And that is powerful because, and I talked about this in a previous live that I've done about self-help books. There are some extraordinary self-help books out there. But the thing is that is the author's perception and perspective and his or her own life experiences, which is extraordinary because you can still learn by what other people have gone through. Absolutely. But what has worked for them as a strategy or an exercise in order to overcome whatever obstacles might not actually work for you because you're your own individual. Now, what I think is so powerful, what I believe is so powerful about numerology is that everything is about you in there. And I have this ability to decipher, right? I am called the deciphering queen. I have this ability to decipher your chart in a way where you really see where your strengths are and how you can take those strengths and to overcome your shadows. Okay? So there's a certain way that you function. There's a certain way that you operate and you navigate life. Just like, and I've said this before, just like a child, there's one child that's very visual for when it's time to learn, where another one is more kinesthetic, right? So it's like we're all different. We're all different. So sometimes this is what happens when we buy these self-help books or we buy these master classes or whatever. I'm not saying that they're not good. They're fantastic. But if it's not what you needed or if it's not aligned to your own individual energetics, then all of that information will remain information. It will never become a source of transformation for you. And that's why I've had so many women go through breakthroughs, because it's all about them. And they get to experience this deep soul remembrance, and they get to rediscover themselves, all the layers, right? We're like peeling back the layers like an onion. And it's like we get to the core. And every layer is so important. It's so important. So these are 4 ways, and there are other ways, of course, but these, I have to say, are the 4 most important tools that I use with my clients when it comes to overcoming the naysayers, when it comes to standing tall and standing, in their truth and becoming unshakable when people choose to actually rain on their parade, and when they choose not to support them. And again, it's not because they are mean, it's not because they're bad people, it is because it's their fears. It brings up their own fears. Okay, so if you have any questions or any comments regarding this video, I would love for you to comment. I would love to know about your ideas on this. What is your experience regarding being supported? Are you actually chasing your dreams? Are you honoring your vision? Or are you actually going through this challenge where people around you are just not supporting you and you're finding it very, very difficult to continue? I would love to know that in the comments so that I can help you out and maybe give you a bit more clarity. If you know anybody who would benefit from this kind of information, please feel free to share the video, and please subscribe and like so that you know when I do come on. There's going to be a new video every Tuesday. I upload a new video every Tuesday. I also have my Instagram account and I have my Facebook business page as well. So hopefully you're going to be following me on those social platforms. And if you want to know more about a personalized reading, let me know in the comments. I can send you the link to book your reading. I still have some openings for the month of June. And so you want to get on there because they do fill up very quickly. And I do have a 1 spot left for mentorship for June. And then in July, I will have 2 spots open for one-on-one mentorship. And this is where you have me in your back pocket. So if this pulls at your heartstring and you like to know a little more about it, please feel free to contact me. So thank you so much for joining me in this incredible conversation. I think it's a really important conversation to have. And hopefully it has shed some light and has given you some tools in order to keep walking that soul path and honoring what you came here to do and who you came here to be. So on that, I'm sending you all so much love and so much light. Ciao for now.